Hey y'all, I'm back with another Legacy video, and today I wanted to discuss and run back the deck from the latest Legacy Challenge that I played. So I played in the Sunday Legacy Challenge this past weekend, and I actually got first place. Now, to be clear, I did split in the finals with my opponent Parks, who was also on Dimir Tempo. We played each other in the Swiss, and I did win that round, but decided not to have the rematch and just went ahead and split. Now, this is the deck that I ran, and my gosh, it just feels great. It's Dimir Tempo running 3 Nethergoyf. Now, Nethergoyf is probably the most hotly contested card in this list. It can get outclassed by a lot of things, but I just love the flexibility of Nethergoyf. There was a game that I won against Is It Cutter, where I was able to pivot and simply leave the Nethergoyf back on blocks to stop a whole bunch of prowess tokens from getting through to a Tamiyo, and won a game with a Tamiyo ultimate that way. It also really improves Kaito Bane of Nightmares, because without having sufficient 1-drops, sometimes you can have Kaito in hand and not be able to ninjutsu it. So for those reasons, I really do like Nethergoyf. In the late game, it's also a pretty nice pickup because you can escape it, and usually it still stays pretty big, like a 4/5 or maybe a 3/4. If you only have, say, one other creature in your graveyard, because you do have to exile different creature types, or rather different card types, to escape it. Apart from that, Snuff Out has been really great. I've been seeing some lists running 2 Snuff Outs in the main. I have 1 in the main, 1 in the sideboard, and that card is just great for tempo purposes in mirror matches, blue tempo mirrors. It's great against Eldrazi. So Snuff Out seems really well positioned right now. I've been a huge fan, and I've even gone down to 3 Fatal Push to support it. The other removal spell is Feed the Cycle, which I love. I was able to win my top 8 match in game 2 by swinging for lethal with a Murktide, and I was able to grow the Murktide using Feed the Cycle for Xaxes, so that was a pretty cool play. It's just a really cool deck overall. It feels really powerful. I think Dimir Tempo is definitely one of the decks to play right now at the top of the format, and I've been really fortunate to have good luck with it. Last weekend, I was able to get a 2nd place finish in the Legacy Challenge, and actually, right before my 1st place finish, I had a 9th place finish, so narrowly on breakers, missed the top 8. So overall, this deck has felt outstanding. I've really enjoyed it. You know, it feels a little villainous, honestly, playing Thoughtseize and Days in Wasteland and Tamiyo. Like, I feel like I'm the bad guy now, but I'm just embracing it because, you know, I work hard to be good at Magic. I work hard to get results, and I've reached the point in my life where I kind of just want the best tools to make that happen. And this deck really feels like it. I really feel like, you know, if I had a big event coming up, I would have no second thoughts about playing this list. So it's felt really good. I'm sorry I didn't record the challenge. You know, I do still have a separation between my gaming self and my content creation self. And a lot of times on these challenges, I just want to do my thing and play and just enjoy that. And I think that helps me to play better too. So one of these days I'll record a challenge and have that on my YouTube channel. But in the meantime, you'll just have to hear my recollections and watch some league action. So without further ado, let's get into this league and let's hope it goes well. All right, I'm on the play for the first match. And yeah, I'll keep this hand. Gonna fetch a basic island and play Tamiyo. Hopefully I don't get Thoughtseize. They'll probably take Ponder. And without a second land, this hand really isn't very good. But it's definitely not a mull. It's got the Island Ponder plus Tamiyo, so I can justify saving the Ponder, which increases the likelihood of drawing a land. All right, my opponent is also good on 7. So fetch basic island off a Flooded Strand. Cast Tamiyo. think that's the standard best turn 1 that you can have in Legacy right now. Okay. Once Upon a Time on Upkeep is interesting. I don't understand not waiting till draw step for that. Maybe that was just a misclick. But it seems like you would want to draw, have total information about what your hand is going to look like, and then cast it. And they revealed Fiend Artisan. So looks like this will be some sort of Cradle Control style deck. Didn't top deck the land, so now I have to hope this Ponder comes in clutch. And no matter what, if I do find a land, well, I was going to say I was going to waste my mana, but if it's a black source, I can cast Netherwave. Okay, I like that a lot. So I'll put the... I guess since I want all these cards, it's Verdant on bottom. I'll draw Brainstorm next turn. Draw Swamp. Play Netherglyph. 2-3 already. Now, if my opponent taps out for the Fiend Artisan, I can just Bowmaster it. Badger Mole Cub. I don't think I'm going to play my one and only Force of Will at Badger Mole Cub. I think you really have to save it for natural order in this deck. Now, I will this turn push some damage with Netherglyph because I can also Bowmaster. And I'll go ahead now and Brainstorm. Ooh, Kaito also looks really good. A lot of good stuff here. I think I don't want the double Bowmaster. And I'll put back the Tamiyo. Now, I probably should have waited for blocks to cast the Brainstorm. I think that would have been insane to block, but there could have been like an Endurance or something like that, or I don't know. Just seems like I could have waited and given them less information for the blocks just to be totally correct. All right, Quirion Rangers, they have all the mana they could possibly ask for. Another Cub is fine. I don't have any Wastelands or anything like that, so. And there's that Fiend Artisan. That I might have to counter. I guess I can Bowmaster that, actually. So I'll let that resolve. Oof kind of stinks. I guess with the oof, I'll draw a card right now rather than Bowmaster so that I get some value out of these clues, or one of them. Okay, so I have double force available now. They won't get to untap with the Artisan. Springheart Nantuko. They've made their land drop already, so I don't have to worry about them copying Fiend Artisan. Then they untap the Cradle. What a turn this has been. Kind of crazy, but I do have the Force, so. And Kaito doesn't look very good here. Kaito is a card I board out in this matchup. Okay, so they can get 1 damage in on the Tamiyo. Sadly, now the Artisan actually is a 3-3. So I didn't think about the possibility of them sacking a creature there. And then it got a buff off the Springheart. So yeah, kind of a misplay there. I'll Ponder first. No, those are not good cards. I'll Ponder again. I really want to find a removal for Fiend Artisan. Those are also not very good. There's Snuff Out, but it is a black creature, which is awkward. I could Snuff out a Badger Mole, and then I could buy it back and Snuff out the other Badger Mole, and then their mana gets really cramped. So I really just want to keep them off of next turn. So I know they have a Bayou in hand. I don't want them to be able to Artisan for Craterhoof next turn. But I also don't want them to be able to Artisan for Grist, really. I don't know if I'll be able to keep them off that because they're going to have 1, 2. Their land is going to make something else 3. I'll just start by snuffing this out. And I think I kind of have to go for broke and just snuff out again. And my life total is low enough. I have to leave the Netherglyph back on blocks. So this game's not looking great. They just had a lot of action in a very quick succession, and I might end up dying here with Force of Will in my hand. I probably should have forced the Artisan. They would really have nothing going on here if I had just forced that. Yeah, they're just gonna get a hoof here. So I just botched this really badly. All right, Grafdigger's Cage is pretty good. I like all of these cards, these black cards. And then I'll cut the Dazes, cut the Kaitos. I'll cut Brazen Borrower. I don't think that's really great in this matchup. And maybe I don't need all three Barragoyfs, or I'll just cut a Bowmaster, actually. Yeah, I'll keep this kind of the same start as last time. I hope they're not a Wasteland deck, but kind of don't think so. And they're good on 7 again. This hand actually has the removal, so it should be much better suited. Okay, they have the turn 1 Dork. Ooh, Toxic Deluge, very nice. So I really just want to find lands off of Ponder. Ponder second main. There's 1 land, so I'll take that. And I'll play the Cage. And I will hold the Snuff Out for now. I'll see if I can get a better target for that Snuff Out. Well, it looks like I won't, so I'm just going to cast the Snuff Out on the Mystic right now. Sadly, that means they get to tap it for mana. Another Mystic, sure. Could have been much worse. Bowmaster is really nice. I can Bowmaster the Safekeeper. I could also draw a card. I think since my defenses are somewhat down here, apart from the Cage, I like just Bowmaster here. And I'll target the Mystic, so no matter what, they're down mana. They'll probably save it, though, because it's better to have that around than a land when it comes to Badger Mole and Cradle. All right, Fiend Artisan. I have Fatal Push, but Fiend Artisan really isn't that big of a deal with the Cage. So I'll attack with Tamiyo, and I'll probably just crack a Clue, try to get my land drop. Okay, Undercity Sewers, so next turn I can Deluge if I want. Ooh, Brainstorm looking nice. I really like the thought of going Brainstorm and then Toxic Deluge. I think my opponent is going to Grist here, but Cage should stop Grist. So I think this is going to get bricked. Yeah. Yeah, Grafdigger's Cage is a nice card. And they sack the Safekeeper too. So I'll go to combat. Cast Brainstorm. No such luck on the land, but I can Deluge next turn. I'll just put the Ponder on bottom and then the Deluge. And I can play the Nethergoyf so that they can't attack. And I can push probably actually the... I don't need to push anything. I have Force of Will and I have Toxic Deluge coming, so it's good. I'll save the Fatal Push. My opponent does say in the chat that they try to get Grist. Yeah, I figured. Grist is a confusing card. Like, it actually works against Containment Priest, but then doesn't work versus Grafdigger's Cage, another Artisan. All right. So I can put a couple damage on Tamiyo. I could also Murktide. That might be better, since they don't really have much going on with the Cage. Like, I think I just have all the time in the world to be as greedy as I want with this Deluge, and Deluge is going to be a lot better next turn when I already have a Murktide. Big question is if they have a Snuff Out, should I cast Force of Will? I don't think so. Though Tamiyo will die if Murktide were removed, so maybe it is worth it. Yep, Once Upon a Time is fine. Reveals Eladamri. That's really cool. Unfortunately, that is not castable on the current board state. Do I even care about this? I can probably Fatal Push it before it's really relevant. I'll plus the Tamiyo. Swing with Murktide. And I think I won't get greedy. I think this is an appropriate time to Deluge. Goodbye, Bowmaster. I can force the Eladamri, or I can push it, and they might not have the mana to cast anything off their library. I'll just allow it. And then I can crack a clue to trigger Revolt and push it. Another Murktide. Put this up to 8. Crack the clue. Push the elf. All right, sweet. All right, well, I get a game 3 here. I definitely didn't play game 1 super well, so I'm thankful to not be dead already. Force of Negation could be a consideration, but I think the Cage is pretty good. I could see also, I was considering going up a Nile Spellbomb in the sideboard, but going up a second Cage could be pretty good, with this deck being good, and Oops. Cage is looking really good right now, actually, in Legacy. All right, well, this is a nice hateful hand. I'll keep it. Okay, turn 1 Dork. Brainstorm is nice, because, yeah, this is a little bit too little action. I don't know if this Wasteland's going to end up being good, but this time I think it's appropriate to just set them back this card. Make them commit a little bit more. Ooh, Green Suns for 0 to turn on the Cradle. So I can actually Wasteland the Dryad Arbor, and that takes them off of the Cradle as well. I will do that. Maybe this is greedy, since Cradle in the long game is going to turn into a much, much better card. But it seems like they're struggling for mana. And I get to destroy their next creature too. Wow, they just scoop it up. Oh my god, I would have played a little longer there for sure, but you know, I'll take it. Yeah, I got lucky there with the Cage being in the opener game 2. And then this hand was just great, and I guess I got the read on my opponent's mana, and that was it for them. So, yeah, feels like an okay win. And let's go on to the next one. I'm on the draw. Pretty nice hand here. No basic swamp, so if that matters, could be a little rough. Ponder from the opponent, turn 1. So this could be one of many things. They did shuffle. All right, I will just start off with another Goyf. And I guess because I have to crack the fetch, it at least can't be Bowmastered this turn, if that's something my opponent has. I wonder if they're kind of weak on mana. Okay, double basic island. I do like holding a Bowmaster here. And I think I'll just play it right now, because if it's something they want to counter, then I get to push damage with Nethergoyf. Okay, Bowmaster actually sticks. So that'll push a little less damage with the Goyf, but things are looking good. I really like drawing that Daze there as well. Okay, no play. Double island, no play. Okay, Brainstorm is a good draw. Oh, I should have pondered pre-combat. I'm gonna miss damage because of that. And Ponder is what I want to cast. I'm not gonna just cast this Brainstorm right now. So that's my bad. My opponent should have 1 less life for sure. Seems like they considered doing something in response to the Ponder. Okay, these are all cards I like. I'll put the Murktide on bottom, then Verdant, then Tamiyo. And I'll play out the Wasteland and cast Tamiyo. Still no play from my opponent. It's kind of concerning at this point, actually. Okay, a basic mountain. So they could be on, like, Jeskai Wizards. I'll attack with everything, but I will leave back the Bowmaster. I mean, I'm guessing if they're holding up anything, it's probably for can't think of the name of the card. I played this just recently on the channel. The wizard modal wizard card. Okay, wow, still nothing. Gosh, what is my opponent doing? I guess I'll put back the Borrower and the Catacombs. And I guess I'm just gonna play Murktide. I'll get a basic island. I don't know if my opponent plays back to basics. Actually, I'm just gonna chill here. I'm pretty concerned about what's going on over there that they've been passing and doing nothing. Wow, just scooped it up. I mean, they could have a lot of cantrips. My guess is it's Jeskai Wizards, but tough to say. I'll pretend that I'm confident that it's Jeskai Wizards and just bring in some removal and take out some counter spells. Days, especially on the draw. Bring in Hydroblast. Yeah, let's see. Well, I have to mulligan this hand. Much better. I'll bottom the Wasteland. In fact, I could probably have boarded out some Wastelands. Another island start. I'll start on the Nethergoyf rather than the Tamiyo. Nah, I'll start on Tamiyo. Because I want to play on basics. And basic swamp is really going to slow me down to have that for my first 2 turns. So for mana efficiency reasons, I think Tamiyo is the better play here. Like next turn I can double spell with these 2. And yeah, they might be Pyroblasting this right now, but then they don't have Pyroblast for the Kaito. So I'll take that exchange. Could also Wasteland this. I'll start with Ponder. I like those as well. So I don't think I want to shuffle away the cantrips. So I actually do think it makes sense now to Wasteland. And then next turn, probably just go Thoughtseize. Now this could be Show and Tell. That'd be something. Okay, so now I will lose the Brainstorm on top of my library, but I want some information about what on earth is going on over there. Okay, so it is just like a control pile of some sort. Pretty annoying cards here, I gotta say. Kaito, I think, can handle the Jace. Snapcaster is pretty annoying. They can cast the Narset next turn. I think I'm just going to take the Narset. I don't need those. All right, I like Berry. And that's going to dodge Prismatic Ending really well. So next turn, it's looking like I'm just going to play Barrogoyf. Stoneforge off the top, pretty good. See what they get. Cauldra, okay. I could feed the cycle. Strand the Cauldra. Feed the cycle plus Nethergoyf, and then they ending. Or I could feed the cycle plus Surveil. I could also Nethergoyf, pass. They spend their white mana on Cauldra. I ninjutsu in, tap down the Cauldra, but then the Stoneforge picks at the Kaito annoyingly. If they draw another land, then they wouldn't want to Jace. They might ending instead of Jace, though the Jace could bounce this. Barrogoyf is also bigger than Cauldra at this point, so those would just negate each other. I think I like the kill the Stoneforge play and play Nethergoyf. It just feels like the safest thing I can do. So this also puts an extra card type in the yard for Nethergoyf. I do kind of have to hope they don't have the land for Jace. Okay, yeah, they just ending here. That's totally fine. Counterbalance is very annoying. Still have perfect information. I could Murktide. That would get bounced, which would be pretty bad. I'll just Barrogoyf. Then if they don't draw the land, it's really brutal for them. Stoneforge, okay. So they're not drawing a land. I can tap down the Stoneforge with Kaito. I could also just not care. Cryptic Coat, okay. So they're definitely going to take a hit here. So let's see. Okay, they're actually... Okay. Well, I think that made the decision pretty easy for me then. to just go ahead and Murktide. Let's see if they have a Murktide on top. No Murktide. So now this looks pretty good. I have quite a lot of damage coming in. If they Jace, like the Jace is just a single use Planeswalker. Looks like they are going to Jace. Or Snapcaster, I guess, get the Red Blast. That's pretty reasonable. Okay, a land is pretty nice for me. See what happens with Barrowboy. Okay, they block. That's predictable. Just play Kaito. Batterskull. Pretty cool. They... Okay, wow, they just scoop it up to that. So, yeah, I mean, if they drew a land, that Batterskull would be pretty good. I guess I would just minus it. But they have a lot of life to work with. I think that's a premature scoop, but my position here is pretty commanding. GG. I'm on the play for match number 3. Yeah, looks good. Keep Thoughtseize turn 1 off of Underground Sea. And then just play the rest of the game after that. Opponent is mulling. Fetch Underground Sea. Thoughtseize. Aha. Oops, all spells. Well, it's a pretty clear take here. I gotta take Undercity Informer. Otherwise, they have the turn 1. I mean, I could take the land, but it's definitely just Undercity Informer. And they appear to be passing. Murktide, cool. Start with Brainstorm. Gotta fix this hand up. All right, another Thoughtseize is cool. I'll put the Brainstorm back. I'll put the Kaito back because I think Murktide will come down more quickly. And yeah, I think this is a fine time to just Thoughtseize. I know that they probably don't have anything great. So now I think I want to take the Ritual, or I could take the Black Source. If I take the Black Source, they won't have enough mana currently to Undercity Informer, or rather to Balustrade Spy. Yeah, this one's really close. I'll just take the Ritual and leave them with the land. Their hand's pretty good if they draw the guy, but they are at the mercy of the top of the deck for that. Push, not very good. I suppose it's not the worst because right now, from my known information, they wouldn't be able to cast and activate. And these cards don't look great either. I guess I'll put the Fatal Push back. I'll put the Brazen back. No, I'll just put Brazen Borrower back. And I think I'm going to Ponder again, and then maybe Tamiyo after that. Yeah, another Thoughtseize is alright. I'll just cast it now. And then this time, I'll take the Black Source that they haven't been playing out. So Narcomoeba, Pact. They have 2 Narcomoeba. And now next turn I can Tamiyo and Murktide. So here's Murktide. I'll make it the maximum. I'll probably leave 1 Thoughtseize in, because that's the card I would be most likely to get with a Tamiyo. And I'll play the Wasteland out. It might discourage them. It might... maybe that was unnecessary information to give them. But I just want to have the most possible mana to crack clues, or like if I draw basically anything good here. All right, attack. Crack the clue. I guess I'll play 1 more Murktide. I don't think the Thoughtseize really matters now. I do need to play this land to make that happen. So I could have pushed another damage this turn. It doesn't really matter because I have Exact Seize now. But that's it. If they can, with a few unknown cards here, if they can put a win together, they got it. I wonder if they're considering playing Narcomoeba. Seems like if you have the win, you just go for it. Like, I don't know why we would have even reached this point. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe they realize if they play Narcomoeba out, they're losing too many resources to recover from that. All right, well, it feels good to win game 1 against Oops always, because that's their by far best shot is to win game 1. I'm just going to bring in all the combo hate, take out all of the fair cards, removal. 3 extra cuts, I'll just take out the Bowmasters. I don't think they're great. I could also take out a Swamp. I kind of waffle on stuff like that. Sometimes I take out the Swamp, sometimes I don't have lands in hand. Of course, if you watch my channel, you might have seen me beat Oops with keeping multiple 0 land hands. Yeah, I'm talking myself into it. Barrel Ghosts, I think, are just too slow. All right, this is kind of a risky hand. Force of Negation really isn't great against Oops, but Thoughtseize is. So if I get a turn, I think it'll be good. I might have to force a Thoughtseize. All right, I'll definitely just force the Dark Ritual here. Pitch the Kaito. All right, sure. Looks like I'm gonna get turn 1. Yeah, you got it. Well, I'll take a peek at this list. Dread Return's already in the bin. Thassa's Oracle's already in the bin. I'll just scoop it up right here. There's nothing really noteworthy about this list. It's just good old Oops all spells. And on the play, I'll just run it back. All right, on the play, thankfully for this last game, yeah, this is a keep. I need lands, but just having multiple pieces of interaction is really good. They're keeping on 6. Let's hope that one Thoughtseize completely collapses their hand. Okay, Charbelcher. It's kind of a slow hand, but I have the Consign. So I'll take the Spy. And probably going to risk tapping out for Nethergoyf next turn. I'll see. Maybe I'll top deck the land. All right, my opponent is taking some life here to put that land into play. Force of Will, pitch. I'll pitch the Kaito. I won't have delusions of being able to cast that card really anytime soon. So their only card is a Boggart Trawler, which actually would be pretty annoying if they get that in versus my Nethergoyf strategy. So there's no way that they can put a threatening creature on the stack next turn. Well, okay, so they're gonna get Boggart Trawler here. That's fine. If I lose to that, I'll take my beating. Sweet, I can already trade with it. And I'll offer the trade. They do not accept, so I will surveil, try to push some damage. Pretty much any card will get binned here. Thoughtseize will definitely get binned at this phase of the game. I don't know, I could regret that, but just want to push damage. So they attack me down to 12. Ooh, they play Lotus Petal. I will consign that. I really want to get to Murktide. I can Wasteland their only mana source. That also seems like a nice play. But I am losing the race as it stands, so something's going to have to give here. I need to get at least one more card in my graveyard, and then I can Murktide, and the Murktide will be bigger than this, and then all will be well. It is sad that they were able to put that card on the stack that exact turn. Ooh, another Goyf. That'll seal the deal. So here's second Goyf. And now my clock is superior. They have to hold back this turn and probably end up chumping with the Boggart Trawler. And then, yeah, I mean, they won't even have the time really to top deck what they need with no mana in play currently. I don't know, I shouldn't say that. So now they have to chump. Well, they don't have to chump right now, but they are approaching the situation where they have to chump. Play the Wasteland out. I'll just hold up Consign. GG's. All right, awesome. And I'm on the draw, and this looks like a pretty nice hand. I would love it if it was on the play, but you don't get to make that decision. Opponent's mulling to 5, so Force of Will looks pretty nice. I know I've played this opponent before, but I don't really know what they're going to be on here. Okay, just a Misty Rainforest. I really hope they're not holding up Veil of Summer, but Daze looks really good in the face of that. Here we go. Well, there's some action here. Even if it's a Brainstorm, I think I'm going to Daze it. Yeah, because Brainstorm was probably their best card on a multi-5 or close to it, and now I'll get their 2 best cards. Plus, if they have like Wasteland, I now protect my land. Yeah, so they just scoop it up to that. So Tundra, multi-5. I mean, it could be like Cephalid Breakfast. I'm really not sure, but I'm gonna hedge on the side of like wanting creature removal and maybe Barrow-Goyfs. I won't bring in the Deluge, but I'll bring in the Snuff Out. I'll chill on the Dazes on the draw. And maybe Borrower. Not really knowing what I'm up against. And maybe as a slight hedge against, I don't know, something like if it's a little more control-y, like my round 2 opponent who had like Jaces and stuff. I don't know, but they did. Not that it's the same person or anything, but they did have Stoneforge. Stoneforge is coming in now. I'll just take out 1 Thoughtseize on the draw. I wish I knew more about their deck so I could take out Force of Wills, but I don't want to be up against something that's like even a little bit unfair without some number of forces. So I guess this is how it is. All right. This hand is great if they care about Wasteland. It's also solid other than that. They are mulling again. All right, here we go. Tundra into Nomads. All right, it is breakfast. So I have to take the play that ensures I don't die right now, and that is to Wasteland. And Tundra's a really important land to lean on for breakfast. So yeah, I'm not surprised that they didn't have like a basic to follow up. So hopefully this next Wasteland really leaves them in the dirt. And if not, I have a third one. Really just gonna Wasteland them until I can't. Because their board is pretty threatening right now. Okay, Brainstorm. It's pretty good. You're still losing the land. And I take 1, and they pass, and they haven't fetched yet. So push right on time. I'll play the Delta, because I don't mind, since I have another Delta, I don't mind if this doesn't get a Surveil land, though I would prefer to be able to do that next turn. But I absolutely must get this thing off the table. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is do it now. Because these decks usually run days. And so if I push this now and they daze, they're not casting Cephalid next turn. But if I let them cast the Cephalid and then they daze, then I'm in trouble. Voice of Victory, sure. All right, I'm going to Wasteland their colored source. I'm going to play Tamiyo. Now they can't make constructs. I think they don't have any other colored sources, though this could allow them to combo me, and that would suck. So we'll block, take 2. I can Murktide next turn. It's a little scary with them having Voice of Victory, but they don't have the land. So if they don't draw the land next turn, okay, flipping Tamiyo is good, though Voice of Victory is really good against flipped Tamiyo because it the 1/1s that it creates don't get the -1, -0. Okay, Bowmaster could be good eventually. I don't know if Kaito's really going to work out. I could tap down the voice, but I don't love it. Force of Will does not look good in the face of Voice of Victory, but I think I have to aspire to get it off the table. If I play this Tamiyo, I can minus and pick up Fatal Push and push this thing, provided that they don't Needle Tamiyo. If they Needle Tamiyo, though, they don't have Shuko, and I'm okay with that. So I'll put back the... I'll put back the Barrow-Wife, actually, and I'll put back the Murktide plus, and then I don't really know if I want to draw Murktide. I do want to get the game over with for sure. Yeah, I'll plan on redrawing Murktide and have that as an option for next turn. That's probably an above average thing I could do. And now if they don't have the Cephalid right now, I get to minus the Tamiyo, kill Voice, and now Force and Bowmaster are alive. So let's see what happens here. Okay, another Urza Saga. That's pretty bad, actually. I guess this means they will get to put one more damage pretty meaningfully on the Tamiyo, actually. So what I should probably do is Kaito next turn. Yeah, I didn't think about them getting the Shuko. If I Kaito next turn, then they can't attack with this, and then I can actually get that. So looks like the Murktide will be more likely my pitch card. So here comes Kaito. Since I can't draw both the land, I suppose I could draw a Snuff Out. But I think I'm just going to tap this down. Plus the Tamiyo. Hope they don't draw land this turn. And then take it from there. Okay, looks like no land. So now I'll pick up the Fatal Push. I think things are looking pretty stable now. Pick up Fatal Push. I suppose I could have attacked with Kaito first. Yeah, it would have been better to attack with Kaito and zero it. Because if I drew like Snuff Out or Fatal Push, I would rather have that. Bin the land, draw the Force. And, okay, yeah. I think this looks pretty done here. I've been on the other side of this plenty of times. Dimir Tempo was always really tough for breakfast with Nadu. And I have to imagine it's only worse now. So, GG's. Heard him on the play for the last round. Trophy on the line. Yeah, this is a keepable hand. I'll start off with Tamiyo, backed by Daze. All right, my opponent is on 6 cards. I'll get an Underground Sea here, so I'm holding up Snuff Out right away, if that is relevant. Okay, Elegant Parlor means this is likely going to be the tokens deck. So Snuff Out looks really good. Daze, probably pretty good as well. Force of Will, really good. Just have to hope not to get wastelanded out of the game. So Undercity Sewers should be looking for either another land or a cantrip, ideally. There's Brainstorm. Sweet. Thoughtseize is unfortunate, but seeing as they can't swords this thing now, should be fine. Bet they take Snuff Out or Murktide. Okay, they took the Daze, and now they're going to swords it. Yeah, I'm going to force this, knowing that I will very quickly be flipping this. And it should be pretty easy to protect with the remainder of my hand. If I get a fetch land off of this Brainstorm, I can Murktide right away as well. And they're just so liable to have a bunch of, 1/1s that I don't have to worry about. Okay, no fetch land. So I'll hide the Feed the Cycle and the Murktide from a potential Thoughtseize. And play the Underground Sea. I can draw a card, which would play around Bowmaster. I guess I'll just draw the card. So terrible playing around Thoughtseize there, but I don't want to get Bowmastered. I guess the most important card to beat Bowmaster is still on top of my deck. Fetching right now. I wonder if they have a 3-drop. Guide of Souls, sure. Into an Amped Raptor. Yeah, I'll daze the Amped Raptor. And there's no way for me to double spell next turn, and I want a Murktide, so I'll do it like that. Not sure if I need to snuff the guide out or not. I suppose the guide is one of their routes to not to getting above the Tamiyo plus. So I probably will just snuff it out. I'll start with Undercity Sewers. I don't want another land. I'll plus this. Snuff out. Cast a big Murktide. I'll leave the snuff out in the yard. So it'll be a 6/6. So this, or a 7/7, excuse me, yeah. This looks like a pretty commanding position. Another guide. I'm glad I didn't let them have double guide. Okay, cat. Not very good. And another Murktide. So now the question is, should I hold Murktide back against their 1-card hand plus one more thing? Like if they draw a creature, they can put damage on Tamiyo. If that creature is something like Bowmaster, that's kind of a blowout. I think if I hold back, I could also crack the Clue. I'll start by cracking the Clue. A Wasteland is good. I can actually wasteland them off of black. So I'll do that. And then I'll plus, and I'll just hold back. I know it's kind of conservative, but if the Tamiyo ultimates, I just win. Ocelot Pride is going to make a lot of 1/1s, but I suppose next turn they will be able to attack. All right, I'm getting a turn. And I think I'm going to, especially if I kill this guide, they don't really get to use the energy. I think I'll just draw half my library. Sounds good. All right. So where do we go from here? The options are pretty limitless, and it's honestly pretty daunting having so many cards in your hand. But I'll start by just fatal pushing this guy, and then wastelanding this guy, and then probably like just playing super conservatively here, but I don't want to get run over by 1/1 cats. Like I'll just play out the Bowmaster, ping down one of their other ones. And if they want to kill my Tamiyo next turn, they can, but yeah, they just scoop it up. I mean, come on, I drew half my deck there. Yeah, I just didn't want to get got by a whole bunch of cats running me over, but the next turn I would have been able to flip a new Tamiyo, so yeah, it's hard to play perfectly when you have half your deck in your hands, but it's really hard to lose. All right, against this deck, I like Hydroblast, I like Barrelgoyfs a lot, and then it's just more removal. Toxic Deluge is also, this is one of the matchups that card is in my deck for. I think on the draw, I can relax on Dazes a bit, though I'll probably bring them back in on the play. I don't think Kaito is very good against this deck. And apart from that, I don't love Bowmaster. I don't love Borrower. I'll probably take the Borrower route. It's really like only good against something like a flipped Ajani. And then I'll take out a Thoughtseize. All right, this hand looks really good. It will keep. And they have 7 cards as well. Tapped land to start out. And they do play Wasteland typically, so I'll play off basics for sure. And just have a really nice curve. Nethergoyf already is bigger than their cat, so they would struggle to get past it in combat. If they have a Bowmaster, I also have a Bowmaster. Voice is probably getting snuffed out immediately. There's the 3rd land, which is really good. So I will snuff this out. Cast Ponder. I should have cast Ponder first. Those cards are definitely keeps, so I'll put the Brainstorm on bottom, then Tamiyo. I'll draw a Wasteland. and attack for 3. Next turn I have Barrogoyf or Bowmaster and Tamiyo or Tamiyo Flip. I think they need a big haymaker like a Johnny, but my creature's already pretty big. Swordsing that is totally fine. I think since they just played a Swords, I like probably just playing Barrogoyf. This also incentivizes them to Bowmaster. Okay, they have another Swords. That's pretty annoying, actually. Okay, they wasteland my wasteland. Seems like a fine exchange. Although I did want that mana going into the next turn. Now it's pretty risky to like brainstorm flip Tamiyo in response to a removal spell. But if Tamiyo lasts until my next turn, then it's going to look pretty good. Would rather have Barrogoyf now, though, for what it's worth. Guide of Souls, that's fine. Static Prison is annoying. I wonder if their last card is a Bowmaster. I really do. I think I can risk it here. I think if I get Bowmastered, it's not the end of the world. Okay. No response. Well, they should have let me cast the Brainstorm. So I guess I'll just let it happen, and I'll just Bowmaster with the mana. And they can just have my Tamiyo, it's fine. Another Bowmaster is pretty cool. I will Brainstorm first. Murktide is even better, but I will leave it on top and play the land and just hold up Force of Will through the next turn. I'll attack with this thing. I think they're very unliable to block. Okay, they do trade. That's fine. I guess they have to play around Kaito. But yeah, now they have to decide between pumping their guy and giving me... Okay. I suppose I will cast Brainstorm in response. And then just put these cards back, and then they take Force of Will. And I'll play Murktide for probably maximum value. This does further incentivize the Static Prison play. Like keeping Static Prison around. So I just have to hope to dodge Swords, though, and I should be good. Swords and Blast, Pyroblast. Bombardment, not great for them right now. I don't think I want the Bowmaster on top of my deck, though, so I'm going to Surveil it away. And I don't want another land. All right, the lands keep coming. Let's go ahead and hit them for 8, though. And I'll hold on to my lands in hand rather than play them out. All right. What's next? Another guide. Okay, so that at least gives them another Tamiyo-less turn, but it's time to find an answer for Murktide for them, or they're dead. Another land. Not great. I will keep holding those cards, though. All right, Moment of Truth. They also, if they have a creature, they could give me back Tamiyo here. Play the creature. Okay, wow, they just scoop it up. A trophy. Sweet. Yeah, this deck feels unreal. It feels so good right now. And I've been drawing well, and I don't think my opponents had the best hands in this league. But this deck just feels really strong. You know, in the last 2 weeks, a 2nd place and a 1st place split of Legacy challenges, a 9th place Legacy challenge, this trophy. I will say this is my first trophy in a little while. By my standards, I've had a pretty long gap in between trophies, so this also feels really sweet to pick that up. Yeah, right now, I mean, it just feels really clean. I know one thing I want to mention about it with Nethergoyf specifically. So Nethergoyf a lot of times is paired with cards like Mishra's Bauble or Artifacts, but like Nile Spellbomb, for instance. But I really don't think you need those cards. Like, yes, they do improve your Nethergoyf while making, you know, sort of being a free card. But in the late game, those cards are so much worse than a card like Ponder, which if I was having to make room for Mishra's Bauble, I'd probably be cutting like a Ponder, maybe even a Bowmaster. So I just like having what I like about this deck is I feel like this is all good cards. And I love the card quality of this. That's really always my style as a player. Whenever I played Breakfast, I tried to minimize the bad cards and only play cards that like really, you know, other decks would play if possible. Obviously, Narcomoeba or something like that, Dread Return, doesn't quite fit the bill. But my philosophy as a player is I try to stick cards that are of the highest quality in the deck rather than going for like maximum synergies. Like I don't mind losing a little bit of the synergy of my deck for the purpose of card quality. And that's really my philosophy behind this build, and it's been feeling really great and really rewarding. So if you watched to the end for this trophy, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.